So welcome to another video. In today's video I am testing out the YT Decoy. This is the comp version, and yeah, thanks to YT UK for allowing me to demo it, and also thanks to Adam. Adam is at the YT shop. He's super helpful, got me set up on the bike and ran through everything, and also set me up on which trails he'd recommend for my ability, which is always helpful. So yeah, the YT Decoy. This is a 2020, I believe. Carbon frame, alloy swing arm, Fox 36 fork, Shimano SLX drivetrain, and Code R brakes. So yeah, let's go and hit some trails and see what this e-bike life is all about. So I've made it all the way over to the backside of Peaslake trails as recommended by Adam. I'm now trying to seek out one of the trails he recommended, just using Strava and trail forks. So I'm not sure if this is an uphill or a downhill. It says it's bi-directional on trail forks, so I'm going to quickly pedal up this bit, hopefully in boost. See if I can get to the top, because I'm actually looking for some flowy downhill trails, but we'll see if we can find any of those. It must be around here somewhere. So in eco, we're going to trail, see if we can get up here. I reckon we could. Probably not now. Definitely looks like a downhill. Let's get going. Wet trials, trial skills. Okay, and now we are at the bit where I was aiming for, which is the bench and the view. Yeah, not a bad view, but it's not what we came here for. We came here for this view of the e-bike and the trails, of course, wherever they may be. So yeah, apparently there's 3 modes, as you can maybe see on the display. You've got eco, trail and boost. So Adam briefly explained that eco was effectively just a little bit more than pedaling normally, as in unaided. Trail gives you the assist as you require it, so the more you pedal, or the harder you pedal, the more it assists you. Obviously on trails you don't always want all the power coming in one go, which is exactly what boost mode does. Gives you kind of all of the torque relatively quickly. So obviously there's a time and place for each mode. Mostly I'm going to be keeping it in trail, I think, like most people probably do. Yeah, so now we just need to find a decent trail. Okay, so pretty certain that that one straight ahead is called Swoopy McSwoopface or Thick and Creamy, one of the two. This trail was recommended by Adam, I think one of his more recommended trails, so guess we'll see if it matches my ability. Let's hope so anyway, because I need to return the bike in one piece later. Let's see what this one's all about. Quite overgrown. Oh, now we've got options. Left, right. Let's go right. Looks a bit more inviting. It says fuck it, let's just go. I've got about an hour, just under, probably 50 minutes till I need to be back at the car. So I need to find some trails, maybe just session a couple of the flowy ones that I find. So up here, and then up here. Oh god, see if we can get up here. I hope this is a climb trail and not a down. On an e-bike, almost everything is a climb trail. These are not climb trails. I'll take that back. Unless we can climb this. I mean, answer? No. I'm actually a little bit lost. I'm trying to get back up to the top so I can find some trails again. However, I'm on the steep, at the bottom of the steep part. So I need to find the main route back up. I was just trying to climb up that bit, that steep bit. As you just saw, I just felt my lower back like click, and then like a paralyzing pain, which is obviously not good. Not quite paralyzing, but you know, stops you in the tracks kind of thing. Yeah, not ideal. So I just want to get back to the top and then find the flowy trails if possible. I am impressed with this SLX gear set. Really smooth shifting. You do have to select the right gear though. Obviously the motor doesn't have the torque to overcome poor gear selection. So as long as you're in the right gear, it's relatively easy. But if you're in too high a gear, it just feels like you're not getting much assistance. I have to admit, I'd probably run a little bit less tyre pressures, I think, than what's been set up. Whoa, keep going. Oh, it's wet. Ratted. Wet. Adam's not going to be happy if I hand it back covered in mud. He won't be impressed, I'm sure. Wow, this is horrid. Adam, I'm doing my best not to get the bike muddy, but I apologise in advance. Slowly. Final strike. Change the direction. Okay, so this is roller coaster. Let's see if this one's any good. Whoa. Whoop. Easily just plough over roots and flat terrain like it's nothing. That was good. We're in trail mode. It's now just dropped to down 1 bar to 4 bars of battery. So interesting. Whoa. Energy levels to run up now.
So I'm just finishing up editing the YT Decoy demo video, and there's a few things that I'd like to go over, a few points that I noticed on the ride that I thought I'd talk about, which I didn't get a chance to in the video. In the end, I ran out of time and I had to get the bike back to YT for 1 PM. So yeah, these are some of the points that I thought I would go over. One of the first things I did when I came out of the car park to begin my ride was just ride it switched off, with the motor switched off. I wanted to get a feel for how it rode in terms of weight, drag, etc. And it seemed to ride quite fine, quite okay, considering that it's quite a heavy bike compared to a conventional bike. Then when I got to a hill, I decided to turn it on, and as soon as I started riding up the hill in eco mode, I felt like there was no assistance. I then switched to trail, still didn't feel very good, and then boost, and I started to think, is the bike broken, or is it just not as good as I expected? When I looked down, I noticed on the screen on display there was a small exclamation mark, which is like a warning triangle, and then straight away I remembered some of the videos that I've watched mentioned that if you're on the bike pedaling and you switch it on, or you have any kind of pressure on the cranks or pedals, it will throw up a fault and basically won't perform properly or work at all in this case. So if you're turning on an e-bike with an E8000 motor, make sure you're not pressing the pedals or haven't got any pressure on the pedals. One of the things I noticed about a lot of e-bikes, and especially the YT Decoy, is the top tube design looks very fat and wide. I did wonder if it would kind of make the bike feel like a wide bike, like a motorbike between your legs kind of thing, but it really wasn't noticeable at all. So you know, the photos and videos compared to real life, obviously slightly different. As I mentioned in the video, the Shimano SLX shifts very nice shifting. I've only ever had SRAM GX on the 3 bikes that I've owned since I got back into mountain biking, and yeah, I can fully recommend the Shimano. Seem to be nice smooth shifts, and also I like the fact that you can shift with your index finger. I think that's up shifts, which is pretty cool. The YT dropper post was quite impressive. I think it's a cable actuated one, but it's just really easy to press and actuate. The Kodar brakes, I personally feel that the Kodars lack a little bit of feel. They are 200mm rotors front and rear, so you do have the stopping power, but yeah, they're not the brakes for me personally. So I rode the bike for approximately 2 hours, mostly in trail mode, and I used 1 bar of the battery. One of the things I was concerned about riding an e-bike is the weight, whether that weight would be noticeable and if it would feel like a big heavy bike to maneuver around, but I did not notice the weight at all, and if anything I would say the weight's probably an advantage in terms of grip and just being able to plough through stuff. Obviously over jumps it should help to keep you a bit straighter than a lightweight bike, especially in windy conditions. One of the things I soon found out riding up the hills was the motor only assists you if you're in the right gear. So if you're in too high a gear, obviously you overpower the motor. It doesn't have the torque to overcome the poor gear selection. I think I mentioned that in the video earlier, but something I wanted to go over again because it really did make a difference. The other thing with an e-bike is a lot of people are saying you're not, you know, they're for people who are not fit and etc etc, and yeah, I'm sure that they can help people who are not fit or people who have I don't know, bad knees, bad backs, you know, they're out there to help a lot of people. But also the advantages for a normal rider like myself is just being able to plough through rooted sections and flatter terrain, or even slight uphill terrain, really fast in comparison to a regular bike, where you just couldn't maintain the speed. And that for me made the trail riding a lot more exciting. Also, the faster you can get back to the top, the quicker you can come back down. So therefore, in theory, you can get more runs in, and believe me, the runs down are quite a workout, especially for your upper body anyway. So if you can do double the amount of runs in a day, surely you're going to be getting almost as good a workout as a regular bike anyway. That's my theory anyway. So yeah, all in all, very impressed with the YT Decoy. The comp spec is probably not the spec I would have chosen if I was to purchase a bike. There are a few things on there that I would have probably chosen differently. However, very impressed with it. In real life, in reality, it's a very nice looking bike, very well presented and finished. The paintwork looks great. I love the SLX, as I mentioned. The brakes I would change, but then most bikes I would change the brakes on, because my favourite brakes are Hopes, and I think I'll be sticking to those in the future. I'd probably go for a bigger brake rotor on the front. Obviously it's a mullet setup, so a bigger wheel on the front, I personally feel requires a bigger brake. I want the ultimate stopping power, especially as the bike's a lot heavier than a conventional bike. But yeah, the way the comp spec handled, it did make me change my mind. I'd probably opt for a comp spec and just change the brakes out and the seat. But other than that, a really good spec bike, and yeah, very impressive. The size I had was a large, as recommended by the YT Mill Guilford. That is exactly what YT recommend on their website for my height. However, I did feel I could probably step up to an XL. If I was to buy a YT bike in the future, I'd definitely like to try out the XL first, just to be sure that I'm getting the right size. But otherwise the large was fine. If slightly on the smaller side, I would say it was quite nimble, and of course means you can chuck it about. I was a bit unsure about a mullet setup. I've only had 27.5 inch wheels. I did wonder if it would be like having a wagon wheel on the front with a 29er, but actually it wasn't noticeable at all, and I like the idea of the front wheel being able to roll over ruts, roots, bumps, and eat up any kind of undulations in the trail a lot easier. I would be keen to try a 29er, full front and rear. However, I do like the mullet setup. I like the idea of having a large plus size tyre on the back on a 27.5 for the extra traction and also the clearance, so you're not buzzing your butt on the downhills and stuff. So yeah, I think the mullet setup is definitely the way forward. However, I would like to try a 27.5 all round and a 29 all round e-bike, but we'll see what happens in the future. But yeah, at the end of the day, the YT Decoy is my first go on an e-bike, and I was very impressed. I will definitely be considering purchasing a Decoy in the future, and yeah, I highly recommend you demoing a YT bike if you're thinking of purchasing one. So big thanks to Adam and the other staff at the YT Mill in Guilford. It's a fantastic bike showroom. The coffee was great, and obviously the YT bikes are awesome. So yeah, highly recommend them. So thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.